think we both have huge pits in our stomach right now.
Yeah, I'm kind of beyond words right now.
I guess we're gonna have to figure out what we're gonna do because it sounds like Mexico will not import the vehicle. Hello and welcome back. So we're not in Colorado anymore. We're actually in Wyoming, which is pretty cool, but more on that later. Let's pick up where we left off last time.
So we left off leaving my parents' house with a U-Haul trailer.
So why do we have a U-Haul trailer? What's that about?
So we wanted to take our 50-gallon fuel tank with us, but it was too tall to fit underneath the side of the camper, and we decided that putting it in front of this heavier camper was not a good idea for this truck setup.
So more on that later, but we're headed to St. Louis.
Unfortunately, we had some issues on our way there. I used Unistrut for the solar panel mountings, and I have two 90s on the front, and when I was bringing everything together, you never tighten all the bolts up front. You always leave them a little bit loose, and you tighten them down after the fact. And we were in such a rush with the weather and everything else going on that I forgot to tighten the two bolts on the very front of the solar panel rack.
Just a little bit of trouble.
And I noticed when we stopped for gas that the front of the solar panels was actually popped up on top of the little piece of angle I have to keep the front windbreaker from folding back. And I was like, well, that's not right. And so at the gas station, we got the extendable ladder out, and I got up to the solar panels and I was able to kind of move them up and down. And I was like, ah, crap, I just forgot to tighten those bolts after we put everything together. So it wasn't a big deal, just tighten the bolts down all the way. They were lock nuts, so they weren't going to come all the way undone anyway. But
it was a little scary in the moment, though. We were like, what's wrong?
Yeah, because to the get-go, I mean, I built this solar panel rack that had never been tested out before. And we were going down I-64, which is 70-mile-an-hour highway, and we had driven several hours. So it was the first big test that the solar panel rack had. We changed plans several times with the fuel tank. Originally, we were just gonna leave it in front of the camper like we had it with the last camper, but we did that. We actually bolted it down to the flatbed and put the camper on, and everything just looked too long. So we decided we needed to have the fuel tank modified, shortened down so we could actually put it underneath the side of the camper, because it was just like 4 inches too tall to where it wouldn't fit. So option one was we put the fuel tank inside the camper and carry it like that with no real way to strap it down. And that didn't really sit right with us. So we decided to go ahead and get a U-Haul, so that way we didn't tear up the inside of the camper. And we found a guy on the outside of St. Louis that said he would modify the fuel tank, which if you're getting the fuel tank modified, gas tanks are a nightmare to try and find somebody that'll touch it, because apparently even if they've been empty for several months, those vapors still kind of hang behind in the fuel tank and can explode. But long story short, anyway, the remedy for that is to use exhaust from a gasoline car and filter that through. And apparently the carbon monoxide eats up the remainder of the gas vapors. I don't know. I didn't look into the chemistry that much, but that's what did it.
So we spent a couple of days in St. Louis trying to get everything done with the fuel tank, which we did live in St. Louis or near there for a few years before all of this. But life's a little bit different when you're in the camper.
Quick shout out to Michael with Custom Transfer Tanks for getting us taken care of with the fuel tank. And also Jake and Allie for housing us on our way out there. It was great to catch up with you guys. Can't wait to meet up again.
After being in St. Louis, we spent a few days in Dallas visiting some family. We had some barbecue, and then we made our way to the border because our goal was to get into mainland Mexico.
And that's when things got a little hairy.
Yeah. Okay, it's border crossing time. We're going a little quick this morning. It's feeling chaotic, but hopefully We have everything. Hopefully we're ready.
Yeah, this
Continue
one's
on to
a little bit of a
Aduana.
weird border crossing too, because immigration and the Banjercito, where we get our temporary import permit, is all like an hour away from the border. So I don't know if they're going to have some sort of a check. We just paid our toll to
Continue on to Aduana,
cross the bridge,
then continue
and
straight
we
onto
are
Libramiento Fausto
now
Martinez.
in Mexico. But we don't have any paperwork yet, and we won't for another hour or so. So that's a little nerve-wracking.
Yeah, hopefully we're doing it
Continue
right.
straight onto Libramiento Fausto Martinez.
Okay, so it's about an hour and a half later, and things have not gone very well for us. Like we had said, our plan was to go to Allende, which is about an hour from the border, which is another immigration office in Banjercito where we can get our import permit. They do have one at the border, but we had heard it's often just more challenging and busier. So it's easier to go to this other office in Allende. Well, we got through the border and had to do the typical inspection where they need to look in the vehicle. But that's where the supervisor said, well, you can just go here into the Banjercito and immigration office. It's going to be easier for you and me. Just go ahead and go in here. So we said, okay, that's fine. It didn't look like it was that busy anyway. But we were able to get our FMM processed, and it seemed like things were going smoothly. We paid for that up in the Banjercito, which is where we're supposed to get our TIP, our temporary import permit for the truck. But when the lady walked out to the vehicle, she looked at the VIN, everything seemed fine, and she took a photo, and then she said, wait, this truck is modified with the flatbed just because it had a flatbed on it. So she said an import is impossible, and basically just walked away, and that was that. So we were feeling really unsure of what to do, because we know several people that have flatbed trucks and have gone into Mexico and have gotten temporary import permits, and it's really, I think, not that unusual. So we weren't really sure what to do because it seemed so final the way that she left us and didn't have anything else to say and just went back inside. We thought, well, maybe we need to just go in and try to talk to her, but the line was like, I don't know, at least 10 people long, and a lot of times each person needs a long time at that window. So we're trying to regroup. After talking to a couple of people, we've decided to go ahead and still drive to Allende, which is about 30 minutes away from where we are now. We've been driving for maybe 10 minutes so far. Again, we've heard that that office is sometimes more understanding. It's a smaller town, so fingers crossed this works out better for us. So I think we both have huge pits in our stomach right now. It's feeling pretty stressful. We weren't expecting that whatsoever to be an issue. More so, we were thinking like last time we got our import permit, it was going to be an issue with the weight of the vehicle, but that's not at all what she said. So hopefully this works.
Moral of the story is we saw on their little teleprompter television that kind of just plays on repeat as we were sitting in the office that you can get a TIP for Mexico online. You just have to do it. You have to do it like 60 days to, and the quickest you can get it is 10 days in advance of your crossing. So if you're planning to drive into Mexico, I would definitely go through the online process rather than dealing with the Banjercito. But it's a bummer. Hopefully we're not driving to Allende in vain and have to make a shame drive back to the U.S. Later this evening, but it's only around 12:30 right now, so even if we get denied in Allende, we should still have plenty of time to turn around and make it to the U.S. back before dark. So
We'll update you when we get there. Fingers crossed. Well, we don't have good news. We made it to Allende. Probably around 2 o'clock.
1 o'clock.
Sorry, 1 o'clock. It's now almost 2 o'clock, and because of that, she cannot give us an import permit. Apparently, this is new as of April 1st, 2023. Her supervisor told us, or someone working there told us, it's now a thing. So I guess that's why it didn't affect us or anyone we knew in the past. It's all new. We attempted to get an RV permit because usually you can get an RV permit for 10 years, but they were not willing to do that either because in order to get an RV permit, reportedly your title has to say RV, and ours of course is a truck, a GMC Sierra. So that wasn't possible either. So they had nothing for us and said, sorry, send us on our way.
Yeah, I'm kind of beyond words right now. I just can't believe with some of the vehicles you see in Mexico that they're going to turn us around and send us back to the U.S. And I don't know. It sucks.
Luckily, there was only one checkpoint that we went through already to get back north, and we were just waved through. They didn't ask to see any papers, so that's good. So hopefully the rest of the drive will go okay, and we won't have issues getting out of the country, not having an import permit. But yeah, I guess we're gonna have to figure out what we're gonna do because it sounds like Mexico will not import the vehicle. So we have some decisions to make. It's pretty stressful, but we'll figure it out. Stay tuned. The only good news about this process is that we have global entry, so we get the shorter line. So little did we know that information was all wrong.
And we were not actually supposed to be in the global entry line with our camper. And we have since found out that there are large fines for people who break this rule, including up to $5,000 per person.
Per person.
For using the global entry line when you're not supposed to, which we were extremely lucky we did not get that. Additionally, I've also heard of people losing their global entry cards for using the lane incorrectly, which we did. So super lucky the guys at Customs took pity on us because we were already having a bad day.
Yeah, we did still get a search and a pretty stern talking to, but it could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, I thought they were over-exaggerating at the time with the talking to we got, but
apparently not.
Looking back, I'm happy that was all that happened.
This was all so unexpected. It threw a huge wrench into our plans. We thought we were going to be in Mexico, and apparently we could be in Mexico, but not the truck. So we were really trying to figure out what to do. We were super unsure. We just ended up going back to the Walmart and the border town we were in and stayed the night there, just trying to wrap our heads around what had happened and what the heck we were going to do next.
And unfortunately, while we were in the Walmart parking lot, we had some more issues. Starlink, actually, the motors that turn the dish and orient it towards the satellites stopped working. Very ironic. But so we also had to figure that out, how we were going to get a replacement dish.
And not only that, but we didn't even have much time to spare because a huge winter storm was coming to the area. And in Texas, what weather they were supposed to get was massive winds and big wind gusts, and we were not ready to deal with that. So we were trying to head away from that weather.
Yeah, and also very cold temperatures too in Texas on top of the winds.
Yeah.
So the only place in the U.S. that we could find that didn't have freezing temps was Arizona.
So, Arizona, here we come.
Beneath the shadows of this quiet town, I see you there, your feathers on the ground. Your eyes are heavy with the weight of the world. What's in a life you never could afford? Even if you never flown before, take a chance and try once more. Don't let your worries weigh you down, down, down. You can still take flight, although you're earthbound.
So lessons learned. Flatbeds are not allowed in Mexico if they're on a 3/4 ton truck or above, because it is considered a commercial vehicle and you cannot get a TIP. And for thoroughness of this video and anybody else thinking about going to Mexico with a flatbed, we tried 3 different border crossings and the Mexican consulate in Phoenix trying to get a permit. So you can't say we didn't try. So from there, we decided mainland Mexico was not an option. So we had some big decisions to make.
Although we had a few good ideas. So stay tuned. We'll have more on that next time. But for now, cheers, guys.
Cheers.
If you liked this video, let us know by liking and subscribing. And don't forget, you can see more of the journey on Instagram and TikTok. Cheers, friends.
What?
All right, let's try it again. So,
There's a massive mosquito that just landed on my face.
take 6. We weren't supposed to be done. Yeah.
Do you want me to cut?
Ready? Cut. Cut it.
Cut! 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 Okay, go ahead.